Hey guys, welcome back to CLOWNFISH TV. This is Kneon. I'm here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And we're going to talk about Teespring. Teespring is, of course, one of the largest merch shop providers, I guess, on YouTube. Mm-hmm. They provide t-shirts and mugs and socks and pants and boots and pants and boots and pants.
Boots and pants and boots and pants.
And anything you can think of to YouTube creators who hit a certain subscriber threshold. I think it's either 10,000 or 20,000 subs. It is integrated directly with your dashboard. You probably have seen a lot of YouTube channels that have Teespring, the little banner underneath the videos. Sounds like a great way to make some extra money if you're a YouTuber, right? Mm-hmm. Well, you might want to rethink that because apparently Teespring has some fine print that opens itself up to, I guess, abuse of copyright and trademark, and we're going to talk about this. This is coming from Purity Sin, a fellow YouTuber who had an incident with Teespring where she had one of her products removed for nebulous reasons, and then her account was frozen, and Teespring ran off with all of her money. We're talking like a year's worth of accumulated revenue. Right. And they would not give it back to her.
And some of that revenue wasn't even associated with what they had a problem with.
Right. And even the problem itself is dubious, but we're going to talk about that because Teespring, they did change their terms of service, I guess, the beginning of the year, and they basically have a one-strike, you're out policy. Mm-hmm. So this is a huge problem. Again, as YouTubers are looking for ways to monetize their content, looking for extra revenue, it's another door that could potentially be closed. We saw this happen with, obviously advertising at first, and then multiple adpocalypses, and then Patreon. Patreon decided they were going to start policing content and policing
and
creators.
Now they're begging for people to sign up.
Now they're begging. I'm so pissed about that. They're actually advertising on Twitter. They're like, hey, if you hate gatekeepers, come to Patreon. I'm like, hey,
that's why everybody left Patreon.
Everybody left Patreon because you were gatekeeping. It wasn't just what you're putting on their platform. It was they would follow you around the internet and see what you're posting.
If you hate gatekeepers who like to follow you at every platform that isn't even their platform and try to tell you what you can and can't do, but in a way that they don't actually give you a list of what you did wrong, then by all means, go to Patreon.
So that leaves merch sales for a lot of people. If you're not doing Patreon, you're not getting ad revenue. And I guess Purity Sin has actually had her channel demonetized too for some nebulous strike. I have to wonder if there isn't something going on if somebody's not targeting her specifically, because it all seems to be happening, in a very quick succession here. So we want to make this video as kind of a warning to creators to not put all of your eggs in one basket. And again, people look at Teespring, they're like, well, I can always sell merch if I can't monetize my channel and I can't use something like Patreon, I can at least sell merchandise. Well, those merchandise providers are also subject to terms of service.
Right, so make sure you ask questions.
So let's get into it here. Purity Sin said, according to Teespring, the cover of my own comic is owned by someone else. You can't make this shit up. Okay. She said, hey, Teespring, I hope you enjoy all the free press I'm giving you and the lawyer I'm bringing to you, vid coming soon. So apparently what happened is her comic got flagged. Her comic, which is this one, this Chaotic Stories, Hello Dolly. Okay. And people were like, well, did they flag it for, why did they flag it? They think it was someone else's or what? They said, my entire Teespring shop has been unfairly disabled, as well as my account, which has money in it from all of you buying the merch. The item they're claiming was copyrighted is my own comic, which I self-publish. Do not buy the item still showing up on Teespring right now. So she's like, what is the problem? And Teespring gave her some bullshit argument. They said, we're writing to tell you that your campaign, Chaotic Stories Hello Dolly 2, has been terminated due to content concerns. And I want to talk about that because they claim copyright. I think there might be something else going on.
Yeah, it appears your campaign may be using content by a third party. Yes, they're claiming that she doesn't own her own stuff.
Right. So they talk about the intellectual property problems can happen, whatever. Here's their procedure. You've gotten things like this, I know, on Cafe Press before. Yeah,
actually, it was funny. We did back in the day when they had G3 My Little Pony, so that tells you how long ago that was.
Yeah.
Kneon did an art piece with an original like pony design with original. Actually, it wasn't even the same body shape or anything, but it had like a cutie mark thing with his own unique one on the hip. It was really, really cute, and we got taken down and said it was copyright, but it did not. It wasn't a My Little Pony. it wasn't a symbol from any known My Little Pony. And then actually it was really funny because not long after you had it taken down, the body style looked more like the ones that came out after that. And then they shut up in stores like a year later.
Yeah.
So I think it had more to the fact that it was going to look like one of their ponies, but it hadn't yet. So that happened, even though we didn't violate anything. But they didn't do this where we lost our whole store, took all our money or anything like that. That did not happen.
Yeah, this kept escalating. Now, she did 2 videos on it. I watched them both. They're only about 3 minutes each. I'll put links to those in the description. But originally it started with like, we're going to take this comic down because there's copyright material. And she's like, well, what's the copyright material? People thought was, Hello Dolly maybe? Even
yeah, it was Hello Dolly.
Yeah, right.
Dolly. Yeah.
That wasn't it. It wasn't Hello Dolly, she said. It was the fact I made a joke that said Electric Boogaloo in the description. They shut it down, kept my money over Electric Boogaloo, claiming it's copyrighted, which it isn't. So Electric Boogaloo, it's a joke. If you don't remember the movie from the 80s, Break Into Electric Boogaloo.
Yes.
So a lot of people, when there's a sequel to something, they call it like Electric.
Plus they had the song.
Right.
The song.
But apparently the trademark on that has lapsed. Now, I did a trademark search because we're in the middle of a trademark dispute right now. So I'm getting very used to how this thing works. And there is a trademark for Electric Boogaloo for gaming machines, devices which accept a wager. So it sounds like a gambling.
Right. But that's a different vertical. So that wouldn't impact what she was doing.
Right. She said that what happened was she put the Electric Boogaloo tag in her item description because she made a joke about Electric Boogaloo. And they claimed that that was copyright.
That's really, really stretching there.
Sketchy. That's very, very sketchy.
But why would they go to so much trouble? That's what I don't understand.
Well, I gotta wonder. I'm just gonna put this out. This is a theory on my part. I have no proof of this whatsoever. That term has become very political.
Oh.
So I
didn't even know any of this.
Yeah, I didn't either until I started looking into this situation. So there is that term is being used in a political context. I don't know if that has anything to do with it or not, but I don't think she really she was doing anything wrong. Now, here's where it gets weird. Not only did they take that item down, but they froze her shop completely. Like, she's not allowed to get any of her money out at all.
So we're talking like items that didn't even violate anything. It wasn't like they just took an item down. Like a lot of places, there's an item. Like if you have like, I know for a fact, like on Etsy or whatever, and you have an item that someone flags, whether it violates it or not, you have to go through steps. They'll take the item down until it's resolved, but they will not take down your whole store and keep all your money from you or anything like that. They'll just take that item down until some kind of resolution's made or just keep it down. That's what they do. They don't just take everything you have and from every other thing that wasn't problematic.
Yeah, so this is interesting. Now, Teespring did respond a couple days ago, said, we're sorry about the trouble. There can be a number of things that may have caused the flag. You can email, here and we'll get you taken care of. And then they turned around and she was complaining in one video that they still had her items up. They were her other items up and they were still taking money for those items, but she was unable to access her account and get her money out. Now, with Teespring, you can have it set up kind of like, I guess, with YouTube, where you can have it set to send checks every month, or you can manually request a check. And that's what you do with Teespring too. And she was just letting her money ride. She had like a year's worth of revenue just sitting there. And again, it was for items that were not related to this particular incident, but because they shut her store down, they took all the money too. And she asked them about it, and they said, yeah, you're not getting your money back. Unfortunately, once the account is closed, it cannot be reinstated.
Oh, bullshit.
Yeah, bullshit. Please be advised you're unable to collect profits on disabled accounts. Your use of the Teespring service, including the creation and implementation of a product campaign, is subject to these terms of service, including acceptable use policy.
But then they changed this in January. If she had money in there, if she had stuff in there even from before January, they wouldn't be able to take it.
Yeah, well, they're taking all of it.
Right, what I'm saying is, I don't know how much legal grounds they have to take your money, because if it's been sitting there and a lot of this wasn't from what quote-unquote violated the service, how can they take the money for it?
Because that's in their terms of, they're basically going to say...
Well, just be aware of that. Apparently, they can shut you down if they decide on it. They don't have to give you an actual valid reason, and then they'll take every penny that you've made that is in this account, even if they don't have rights to you to take the money.
Yeah, this is the huge problem I have with them. Okay, to the extent any campaign violates or is alleged to violate or
alleged. So even if you didn't do anything, but we think maybe you did something and we shut you down, we're not going to reinstate you and we're going to take all your money.
Yep.
This cannot be, I don't think this is going to hold up in court.
So it said alleged to violate our acceptable use policy or any parts of the terms of service. In addition to other remedies, you agree that Teespring has the right to withhold and redirect any funds collected relating to the campaign, which funds will be disbursed based on Teespring's internal policy. For example, Teespring may give the funds to a charity where a campaign falsely states is raising funds.
Okay, well, I can understand that.
Right.
You know, but that's not what they did. They kept it.
Yeah, they kept it. They're keeping it, and you don't know where the money's going, and you can't get it.
Teespring may apply such funds to any judgment or settlement. So if you sue them, they'll take your money and use it to pay their court costs for you suing them for their bullshit.
So you pay for them suing.
And then reimbursement of Teespring's expenses resulting from a third-party claim on infringement. So that makes sense. If you legitimately did copyright something, or you did do something that was copyrighted, and you did do something like that, and you shouldn't have done it. Okay, that I can understand, because then they're going to take the money that they basically commandeered from you to pay for any infringement claims or anything that they might have to pay monetarily by you misusing the service. Okay, that makes sense. But in this case, she didn't. It was her own thing.
Yeah, which, I mean, she would have to prove. I don't know. This is a cluster. Now, it could be, because we've run into this before too, because of the shutdown on YouTube's end, they're just erring on the side of caution, and they're being overly cautious.
Yeah, but they're not telling her it doesn't matter if it was wrongfully terminated. It's terminated.
So they
took the money, and they're not giving it back or turning it back on, even if it turns out that it didn't violate anything.
Yeah, I have a huge problem with that.
I have a huge problem with that too.
I have a massive problem with that. Now, they just changed their terms of service at the beginning of the year, and they go into detail, but this is what gets me. This is at the beginning of the year. Again, most creators do not read the terms of service.
Right.
You know, for most things, whether that's an app or whatever. But in this case, I mean, this is a company you're using to generate revenue, and they can snap that revenue away on any whim, even alleged infringement.
See, that's where I get. That's our problem. If it's alleged and they didn't prove it first and they shut you down, took your money, I think they're gonna have problems. I don't think this will gonna hold up.
Yeah, so last month, this is just as of January. Last month, we began implementing a one strike and you're out policy for certain egregious violations.
But did I say what egregious violations they are?
They go into it.
Okay.
If the seller appears in our sole discretion.
Oh, if we decide.
Yep. To have deliberately violated our terms of service, acceptable use policy, or any other Teespring policy, their account may be immediately disabled. One strike types of violations include keyword gaming, copying verified donation listings, uploading content that clearly violates our policies, etc.
Well, that doesn't really clarify much of anything.
Doesn't. Any disabled accounts will immediately lose access to pending funds or payouts within their Teespring account.
If you have a Teespring account, I take all your money out of it right now.
I would tell you to get the hell out of Teespring.
I would take all your money out right now.
This is very, very dangerous, because
this ranks up there with like Patreon. We're not going to really tell you. If we just solely decide that it's that way, even if it turns out it's not, at our discretion, we can just take all your money.
Yeah, so now you have to prove to them. The only way to access pending funds is to successfully get your Teespring account reinstated through the seller support.
But I thought they just told her that. Wait, whoa.
It's not possible.
Whoa, that's what they say here, but they just told her on email that it was impossible to do so.
It cannot be reinstated.
Well, which one is it, Teespring? You said in the email it cannot be reinstated, but here it says, it can be. You have to be reinstated. With proof, and that's what you're saying on your terms of service. On your terms of service that people are agreeing to, it can be reinstated. It said it's very unlikely a disabled account will be reinstated. Disabled accounts must provide extensive proof they did not commit the design violation in question. Our decision is on a request for reinstatement will be final and unappealable. But you said in the terms of service that people agreed to that it could be turned over, fixed, reinstated. That was possible. And go back to the email. And then in the email, you state, unfortunately, once the account is closed, it cannot be reinstated. Which one is it? Because you violated your own terms of service then.
This sounds an awful lot like Google with AdSense, where if you violate AdSense for any nebulous reason...
Whether you did or not,
they don't have to tell you what exactly happened, but they can permaban you, like, forever.
And even whether you did it or not doesn't matter.
And it's also like AdSense in the fact that if you lose your AdSense account, they will just take all the money sitting in your account. So this is very dangerous because so many people use Teespring to make extra revenue on YouTube, and it is so tightly integrated with YouTube. That is by default, Teespring is the merch shelf on YouTube. Now there are third parties that you can use, but it's much trickier to get those. But I can tell you on our end, even before this happened, we were working on another solution besides Teespring.
Right, before this.
And we were actually kind of on the fence. We were like, well, it's going to be kind of a hassle to change things over. Do we really want to do it? We talked about it. And now I'm like, what if Teespring can just snap your account away for no reason?
Well, then their own double talk. I mean, go back to their terms of service again. I'll restate that. It is very unlikely a disabled account will be reinstated. Disabled accounts must provide extensive proof and not commit the design. But you can, it says you can get it Teespring's accounts reinstated through seller support. It says totally possible. You have to provide proof. We'll work with you. If you can prove it, we'll reinstate you. From that, to go back to that email again. Unfortunately, once the account is closed, it cannot be reinstated. Which one is it? Because by the terms of service people agreed to, it's possible to get it reinstated if it was done in an error.
Yeah.
What the hell, Teespring?
Yeah. I don't know. I know that we were on the fence before, and I'm definitely at this point. I'm like, we're getting the hell out of Teespring.
Yeah, I'd recommend.
I don't trust them.
Too, that if you're going to buy merch from YouTubers, if they have merchandise other locations besides Teespring, I would go to those other locations to buy merch from them. I would not support Teespring, and the fact that Teespring is double talking their own terms of service. They're trying to use their terms of service to strong arm people and say that they can keep all the money. That if you do anything, and that we'll just flag it, and it all comes back to us. And they're not being clear about that. And then they say one thing, which people agree to, it can be overturned and reinstated. And then in the email, when she was doing what she was supposed to do, once it's closed, we don't reinstate accounts after they took all the money. So if you have a Teespring account, I would take all your money out of it. And if you're a person wanting to support a YouTuber, I wouldn't buy through Teespring.
Yeah, I'm gonna say at this point, I'm gonna throw Teespring on the same list as Patreon and be like, creator beware, because they could revoke your access for any nebulous reason, for any reason whatsoever.
And apparently their own terms of service doesn't protect you like they claim it does.
No.
They give you an out, and they don't let you use the out.
They give themselves so many outs. They literally can just cancel your account at any time and take all the money.
At their sole discretion.
At their discretion.
For nebulous reasons.
Any reason.
And then they can take all the money you have in it, even if the money in the account had nothing to do with the item in question. Maybe that's the first time you put it up, and you have thousands of dollars in there. They'll take all your money anyway. You might not have sold one thing involving that item, but they'll take all your money anyway because they say that you violated something, whether you did or not. In this case, she didn't violate anything because, one, the thing they said is copyright isn't copyrighted in that vertical, and two, it's her own comic, it's her own thing. It can't belong to somebody else when it belongs to you.
They're gonna say keyword gaming probably, or copy, but they're not even really being clear on.
How is it keyword gaming?
Because
maybe because if that's your boogaloo when it had nothing to do with the actual.
Yeah,
but that's really, really pushing it. That's really stretching.
That's really stretching it. I don't know.
I mean, I can see if you're selling one thing and then if you're selling like a comic book, but you're tagging it with video game references and stuff like that. I can see it if it,
Yeah.
But that's really pushing it.
Yeah, so I'm gonna have to put Teespring on the same level as Patreon at this point, and just be like, I can't in good faith recommend them because you don't know if they're going to cancel you for any reason.
Well, has anybody else been complaining about this recently? Did you check?
I haven't heard any other complaints. But I haven't really been paying attention. Now, we do have a Teespring store. We have a couple of things in it. We are switching to another merchandise solution. That's actually been in the works for a couple of months now. But this is definitely, like, I can't even recommend Teespring at this point if they're gonna pull this crap.
No, I mean, and something like that. If it's something if it turns out it's so ridiculous as keywording it with electric boogaloo, which no one probably even gets that reference most of the time. They're stretching that far to steal her money. Then that's something like that should have been like, oh, you can't. There should have been like a warning. You can't keyword it this. Something like that would have been a warning. Infraction. That wouldn't have been I'm taking your whole account. And then it changed because first it was telling her copyright infringement on her own stuff, and then it became because you used this one keyword. I'm like, really?
Yeah, so one strike, you're out. I don't like that because you can get struck for anything. And so
we'll probably get ours taken down anyway because we dared say to take your money out of Teespring, which I still say take your money out of Teespring.
Yeah.
So, YouTubers, if you have other options to use, instead I would use other options. People who are fans, it might be a little extra work for you, but maybe if you have to leave the site to go someplace else to buy merch that they won't have these ridiculous rules in place and still support your YouTubers, do that, please.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say, yeah. And we just see this because all these different options that YouTubers have to make money. And it's getting harder and harder to make money on YouTube for a lot of people these days. So we're seeing more and more of these support networks being sort of, going crazy with these rules and being able to cancel you for any reason. Again, I don't think anybody would question a really egregious, like I'm going around the internet and I'm stealing other people's artwork.
Or I'm saying I'm raising money for something I'm clearly not.
Right.
Something like that. Yeah, take the money and give it to the charity they lied about. 100% agree with you on that. But that's not the case.
No, this is just really iffy, and it could totally be abused. Yeah, they've got
clearly
seller trust scores now too, so that's fun. Yeah, I don't know, guys.
Oh, it's easier to report people too, by the way.
Oh, it's easier to report people?
Yeah, it says simplified design reporting process. So you can so somebody who might not like this person because just reported it and they immediately,
Well, that's what I'm wondering, because she said she lost monetization for dubious reasons on her YouTube too. Does she have a hate stalker who's going around just trying to get her canceled from all the platforms? And if that's the case, I think those people should be held accountable too.
That's one problem I do have. If people flag you, like we ran this on Facebook the other day with our Disney thing, we were allowed to run ads on our Disney video, or they're like, why? Well, because you were flagged. Or it turned out after going around and around, we violated something, and we're like, no, we didn't. We done the same thing we always done. It says we got flagged. Well, no, it's because of this, and this. No, we didn't. It says we're flagged. And after a while, somebody flagged you.
Yeah.
We have to wait and see if it's a legitimate flag or not. So we're going to basically just keep your account locked until we find out if it's legitimate or not. Which it turned out it wasn't.
Well, we had that happen with a YouTube live stream too. We were doing a live stream. There were other people that were flagged too. Somebody was going around flagging all these comic book live streams.
But my point is, these people should be punished. If you did nothing wrong, but you lost, stuff because of false flagging, then the false flaggers should be the ones who are banned or punished.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it should be a crime. Because at that point, you're actually costing people revenue. You're costing them their livelihoods to try to cancel them and get their stores taken down or get their YouTube channels struck or whatever. I do think there needs to be some sort of legal
Especially
action.
if there's a pattern of behavior. If it's just like one-off and it was an accident, maybe you misunderstood. Okay, I understand occasionally making a mistake. But if it's like a pattern of behavior, and there are people who have gone around mass flagging people and are known to do so, they should have been removed immediately.
Yeah, they should be removed, and they should honestly, I think, have some sort of legal action against them, because again, they're trying to destroy people's livelihoods actively. It's not like I just don't like this one person. It's like I'm going to try to get rid of all these people I don't like and or competition. And at that point,
or even if it's just one person they're targeting, they're deliberately targeting an individual.
That's
malicious. Targeted harassment.
Yeah. So we're gonna wrap this one up.
Yep.
Okay, so good luck to Purity Sin. I hope she's able to get this reversed. Again, I'm gonna tell you that I can't, in good faith, recommend Teespring.
No, I think if Teespring were smart, they'd look at this again and maybe reconsider what way they've changed their terms of service and be a little bit more descriptive and pay more attention to when things are flagged.
I agree. So we're gonna wrap it up.
Yep.
Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, and we'll talk later.
Bye.
Hey guys, thanks for watching Clownfish TV. Please consider supporting the channel. Go to clownfishsupport.com. That's clownfishsupport.com. And if you want to join our community, go to clownfishtalk.com. That's clownfishtalk.com. Please subscribe, ring the bell for notifications. We will talk to you next time.